The past we inherit, the present we create. But to those who hope, work and pray, the future awaits. ACS, our journey. Our story begins in India with a great missionary named Bishop James Thoburn. After serving for many years, he decided that the missionary work should be extended to Southeast Asia, and in particular Singapore. During that time, William Fitzjames Odom was also serving as a missionary in India and was specially chosen by Thoburn to go on this mission to Singapore. And so, in days of yore, from western shores, Odom dauntless hero came. He arrived in Singapore on a Saturday, the 7th February 1885, together with Bishop Thoburn, Mrs. Thoburn and Miss Julia Betty. Odom was an evangelist and a pastor to the English Church, the first Methodist congregation established in Singapore, which was later renamed Wesley Church in 1908. Odom was asked by some Chinese businessmen to tutor them in English. Odom instead offered to teach their sons. He was concerned about the many Chinese boys he saw wandering aimlessly along the streets, and he wanted to give them an education. And so, this gave birth to ACS. The first school was set up with 13 students in a shop house at Amoy Street. Odom had planted a beacon of truth and light in this island of the Main. News about the school spread fast and far. The enrollment grew and grew. Her students hailed from China's plains and the land of rising sun. She had many sons from the India, Strand and the islands of the Main. With so many students, the school needed more space, and so ACS moved to new premises in Coleman Street. However, before long, the school needed more space again, and so they took over the piece of land next to the existing building. In 1923, the principal, Reverend Peach, wanted to give an opportunity to the many overaged students who could not continue studying in the school. And so, the Anglo-Chinese Continuation School was started for this group of older boys. Meanwhile, the school's population continued to grow. To meet this growing demand for an ACS education, a new school was opened at Cane Hill in 1928. This is the site that is known today as 126 Cane Hill Art Centre. Then, tragedy struck in Southeast Asia. In 1941, World War II had broken out in the Pacific region, and Singapore fell to the Japanese in 1942. ACS was forced to close, and its buildings were acquired by the authorities during the entire Japanese occupation. During this time of hardship, many pupils moved to the former Sanshan Chinese School at Sophia Road, and the school was renamed as the Sophia Road Boys' School. However, once the war ended, regular classes resumed at Coleman Street and Cane Hill within a year. As before, the student population expanded very quickly, and there was again a need for more space. 1950 marked a significant milestone as the new secondary school at Barker Road was completed. In 1951, the Coleman Street School was divided into two primary schools, one at Coleman Street, which later became ACPS, and one at Barker Road, which later became ACJS. The demand for an ACS brand of quality education continued to grow, and in 1978, Anglo-Chinese Junior College opened her doors. In 1985, ACSJ moved from ACS Barker Road to Peck Hay Road. The 1980s was an exciting time of change for education in Singapore. Mr. Goh Chok Tong, who was the first Deputy Prime Minister then, announced that some schools would be allowed to go independent. A wave of excitement swept through the school as ACS took up the challenge. Plans were made for an independent ACS unit. In 1988, ACS became one of the first 3 schools to be independent. Then in 1992, the entire staff and student body marched from Barker Road to a brand new campus in Dover Road on Founders Day to mark the opening of ACS Independent. The school continued to maintain its famous brand of holistic education and attracted students from around the region. In 2005, another unit was added to the ACS family of schools as ACS International opened its doors. In the following year, 2006, ACS International opened in Jakarta, marking a great milestone in the history of the school. ACS had clearly made its mark in countries outside Singapore. By this time, the 30-year lease for ACSJ at Peck Hay was running out, and the school had to find new premises again. It was truly a blessing when it was given a sprawling new campus at Whitstead Road. Under the leadership of Mrs. Catherine Koh, the school opened its doors in 2009 and functioned for the first time as a single-session school with 1,620 students and 100 staff. ACS has over 100 years of history and tradition. It's a brand of education that is in great demand by many, not just in Singapore, but also from our neighboring countries. What was the secret that made ACS grow from a small shophouse to what she's today? Let's take a look at the unique ACS traditions and culture. The ACS spirit had been carefully nurtured over the many years. The early focus on sports played a big part in shaping the ACS spirit. The school's sporting tradition can be traced back to the 1890s with the Oldham Athletic Club. The first ACS Sports Day was held in 1895 and it has remained as a highlight in the ACS school calendar. In 1930, the house system was introduced. The houses were named after Bishop Thoburn, Bishop Oldham, Reverend Goh Hoot King, Mr. Tan Kah Kee, and Mr. Cheong Koon Seng. More recently, 3 new houses were introduced and were named after Mr. Shaw V. Meng, Datuk Tan Sri Tan Chin Tuan, and Dr. Lee Seng Gee, all of whom played a key role in contributing to the growth of the ACS schools and tradition. As inspirational leaders, they all stood together for the cause of ACS forever. The ACS education was a holistic one which focused on many different areas. And it's the many co-curricular activities that inspired the growth of the ACS spirit. It's this spirit that unites all Axians past and present, spurring them on to achieving success with their hearts, their hopes, their aims as one. No discord ever did sever. ACS also delivered academic excellence throughout its history, and its students' academic brilliance was seen in the scholarships they secured. The family of 7 ACS units is held together by the same spirit that holds true to the founder's vision and passion in providing a quality holistic education grounded in Christian values and principles. For us at ACSJ, our vision is to nurture every Axian to be a young gentleman of character ready for the future. We uphold the values of integrity, love, excellence, curiosity, collaboration, and loyalty. ACSJ will continue to educate to become responsible individuals and equip them with skills and knowledge to contribute to the society as future leaders and global citizens. And they will stand from year to year as emblems of grand endeavor. The regions round will echo the sounds of ACS forever. God save our land and heaven bless our ACS forever. For the best is yet to be.